All right, you're watching the Sports Roundup Show with Mike Nelson and Cody Parks. This is our NBA segment. I want to thank everybody who's watched our videos and subscribed in this past week. Make sure you like and subscribe if you like what you're seeing, or comment below. So we're going to start off with of course, the Lakers. They've lost 4 in a row this past week with no AD, 1-4. Wednesday against the Utah Jazz was, it looked kind of like the 2019 Lakers, right? I mean, they pretty much were not in the game the whole game pretty much.
Mike, that's a good point because that was LeBron's first year,
Yeah,
and no other superstar. If LeBron, remember he hurt his groin that year. He was out for 3 weeks, and then he was about to come back. Pretty much he was out for the rest of the year, but they were saying the diagnosis was 3 weeks, and after those 3 weeks, the Lakers started to get out the playoffs. So if LeBron would have not got hurt, their chances of making playoffs, they were only probably going to get like the 8th or 7th seed. So to your point, that's how the Lakers are looking right now because they keep dropping down in the playoff standings. But also, they're not just playing good in total, and they should, Mike, I want to point this out, they should be on a 5-game losing streak because one of those games was versus Minnesota.
yeah,
That fourth quarter, it was a 2-point game in the fourth quarter between the Lakers and Timberwolves, and the Lakers, of course, pulled out in the end with the help of Kuzma, if I remember correctly, who has been playing good out of everybody. But yeah, I'm with you, Mike. Mike, we can even take it back to the last 10 games. They're 5-5. So Mike, I can't remember if I text you or I said it here on this show. I said the right before because we did our show after that Timberwolves game. So right before who they played, Mike, they played Brooklyn. Brooklyn.
yeah.
I said that the next 8 to 9 games before the All-Star break, the Lakers was going to have a tough time because you could not. It's hard to win in this league with one superstar. And so far they have been having a tough time. I will say Dennis Schroeder is back tonight after the health protocols. So hopefully that'll help.
Yeah, they've had pretty short-handed team this last few games, but also I just think maybe it just has to do with the Lakers being tired from last season, right? I mean, didn't have much of an off season. We talked about that when the season started, that they weren't going to have a lot of rest, and I think it's showing up now, right? The team looks tired. They look like, especially in the second half, they don't seem to have much energy, and I think that's playing a big role too, right? They had to play so many games last year, and a lot of other teams didn't.
Mike, and let me ask you this. This is my opinion. I talked to some other people, and they kind of see it too. But let me ask the great Mike Nelson. Uh, of course, in years past, LeBron would easily carry teams, Cavaliers, even that first year with the Lakers, because he was younger and can get wins when he's tired. Because I want to talk to your tired point when he's tired. This year, Father Time has not caught up to LeBron, but it's it's looking at him a little bit. Would you say, in your opinion, that you can tell at least a little bit LeBron is not is getting up there to where he can't really carry teams as much as he used to?
Yeah, I think I've noticed it more since the AD injury. To be honest, I think early on in the year, LeBron was looking great. The team was up there with Utah, right, for the number one seed. Now they've kind of fallen back. But yeah, I've noticed that LeBron is definitely, it's going to be really hard for him to carry this team, even to keep him in the top four. Like if AD has to sit out a month or longer, I mean, it's going to be hard, I think, to keep this team in the top four just with LeBron out there, because I don't know if the Lakers really have enough to tread water, right? Because the West hasn't really been that great. Portland has been losing. They're playing Portland tonight. Portland is coming off a 3-game losing streak. Phoenix has been 20-11, not great. They played 2 less games than the Lakers, so that's an advantage. But we'll see if they can actually stay in the top four. Like tonight's game, they lose again. It's going to be a setback, and Portland will get closer, right? Because Portland is only 3 games behind the Lakers. So they can get within 2 games tonight.
Mike, the All-Star break is coming up. You will have a week off, but who's going to be inside one of the events that Sunday? He has to travel Saturday, has to travel Sunday. Monday, he's going to probably get some rest, but he's going to want to hopefully his kids get to play with his kids. So LeBron is not going to have the normal week of All-Star break. Well, you never know. LeBron, they say no fans and stuff, but you never know. He might do a commercial so LeBron probably won't get the full week's rest. So Portland tonight, as you said, the Warriors, Phoenix, the Kings, the last game of the year in Sacramento. They may want to play hard. I'm talking about other games too that we know AD is not going to play. Coming out the All-Star break, Indiana has been playing good. You got the Warriors again. Timberwolves should be an easy win. You never know. The Hornets, LaMelo, they've been playing great. So that's the 18th of March when we know that LeBron, that AD would be out. But then who knows after that? You got some Hawks, Suns, Pelicans games after that. So yeah, to your point, this next big stretch is going to be hard because players will start to get tired.
But do you think, like, I was thinking, like, the Lakers, are they really going to rush like AD back if the Lakers really don't have a shot at the number 1 seed? Like, that's gonna be a big question, right? Because I mean, if the Lakers are 6-7 back of Utah late in March, I don't think they'll be able to catch them up, right? So are they going to wait on AD and maybe rest him a little more? Because the Lakers are going to make the playoffs, but I mean, if you could get AD just some more time off, so they can be at least healthy for a first round series.
And that's a good point, Mike. Shaq mentioned that last night of Inside the NBA. Once you become more of a veteran, do you start caring about the first seed in the playoffs? Because you think that whether you're on the road or not in the playoff, you can always win. Because he was talking about Giannis saying that he doesn't care no more about being the first seed and whatnot. So that's a good point. A point that we talk about the last couple of shows. The fans, you do not want to go. I always bring this up. I got to stop bringing up Utah. I mean, not that I love Utah. Like, again, I was in Utah for a couple of years. I love Utah, but I keep bringing that up. You don't want to play in Utah. If Phoenix get ahead of you, you might not want to play in Phoenix. Of course, Clippers, it doesn't matter, same stadium. So that's a good point. Does LeBron and them care? Because I know we're gonna talk about Brooklyn or just the whole league coming up, but they're keeping out KD for a while now. To your AD point, so that's a good point.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. We're gonna have to wait and see with how the NBA like does the playoffs, right, with the fans and all that, because that's gonna be a big key also.
Let me ask you one thing, Mike. Do you think Schroeder helps? Like, do you think these games will be closer than Mike? These last couple of games been what, blowouts or overtime, if I'm correct, right? So, do you think these games will be closer now, or at least
Yeah,
Lakers?
I think especially I think tonight, and Portland doesn't play defense at all, right? So I think tonight's going to be close because I think Portland is as usual. They're not very strong defensively. So I know, although we know Lillard always plays well when he comes to Staples Center, so that's going to be a tough matchup. But Sunday I think it's going to be a big question, right? Because we know, the Warriors been playing pretty good recently, so I think that's going to be a tougher game Sunday than tonight.
So, to that point, Schroeder can at least try to stay with some of these point guards compared to what we had with Caruso and Taylor Horton Tucker. So I agree with you. To push him over the hump to get W's, I'm not gonna lie, Mike. It's gonna be tough until AD gets back.
So you think this team might continue to struggle then without AD? You don't really see like LeBron had to score like 40, 50 points, I think, right? Like to really put him over.
See,
Like,
Mike,
yeah.
that's a good point because, well, I guess you're trying to say but I'm confused right now. But he can't do that no more. That's what I was trying to say earlier. I don't think he can score 40, 50 no more as he's getting up to this age and playing all these games with AD being out. Because I mean, Schroeder's gonna might give you 14, 15 a game. I mean, I guess that does help you get a win to some of these past teams, but I'm not. I gotta wait and see. It'll show tonight. Because I'm with you, Damian Lillard, he comes to play. So.
Yeah, and then also I think LeBron. I always think he takes so much criticism, right? How he's never been able to win on his own and all that. So I think that's also going to get to him if they keep losing, right? Because people are going to bring that up. How LeBron always needs that second star to pull it out.
And Mike, he does also want to be inside the MVP conversation. And to be inside the MVP conversation, you got to be up at the top. So if it keeps falling down in the standings, he knows that he's not.
Yeah, I mean, if the Lakers don't finish in the top 4, I mean, I think they're gonna have to give the MVP maybe to Donovan Mitchell, right? I mean, number one seed. I would give it to Donovan Mitchell. I know some people will probably disagree, but I think Donovan Mitchell or LeBron James should be. Oh, I don't. Bradley Beal has been the leading scorer, but the Wizards are out of the playoffs, right? So
You've been
it's got to
hearing
be.
Embiid, Mike. So
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about Embiid, but now let's switch over to the rest of the NBA. Talking about Embiid, what do you think of the 76ers? Some people were talking about them being title favorites. I disagree with that. I mean, Doc Rivers, we saw it for many years with the Clippers. He was never able to get him past the second round. And I just don't think they're. I mean, I don't know. Defensively, they've been a little weak sometimes. And I don't know. I almost see the 76ers just like a Eastern Conference version of the Clippers. That's how I see it.
Mike, you called it. I tried to keep from laughing because when Mike goes on these Doc Rivers tangents, I love it because first of all, it's funny, but a lot of it is also true. Mike, I'll even say if you remember back to what was that 5 years or so ago when the Hawks, remember Mike, when the Hawks were playing good in the regular season for a couple years in a row when they had Mike Budenholzer, who's the head
Yeah,
now of a Milwaukee head coach then. They was winning like 60 games, but didn't get
yeah,
nothing in the playoffs. That's what
yeah.
the Sixers kind of remind me of. And then to your
But
point,
that was those years when LeBron was still in Cleveland, if I'm not mistaken. So that's why I think nobody took it serious too, because we remember how every year Cleveland just like in the playoffs turn it on and beat everybody.
yeah, and then to your point, Doc Rivers. I got to see. You brought it up in a past show like a couple months ago. I see it on TV every now and again. Phil Jackson saying that quote. Um, yeah, this team doesn't do well with the 3-1 lead or just a lead in general. So we'll see. But also, I want to say this: when them fans come back in Philly, I know because you're starting to see now with New York and Brooklyn, they haven't had
Yeah.
fans for a while. They're starting. They got fans recently back. When fans start to fully come, I know Philly has a little bit of fans, but when they start to come back, that's going to change because Philly fans will get on you. So that some players could start changing. Who knows?
Yeah, and then like the 76ers haven't won in so long, right? I mean, it's been almost more than 40 years. It's just it's hard to believe that they haven't won a championship in that long, right? They've only been to the finals, what is it, 2 or 3 times in the last 40 years too. They
70.
made it with Allen Iverson
Yes.
in 2002, and then they also made it, I think, in '80 against the Lakers, Magic Johnson's rookie year. But I mean, that just shows you how it's hard to believe how little they've been able to make it, the 76ers, all the way.
So do you think, Mike? How far do you think they can get? First round, second round, Eastern Conference Finals?
Well, I mean, it all depends who they play in the second round. I mean, they're going to get out of the first round for sure. I have no doubt about that. But the second round, I mean, if they're matched up with the Nets, I think the Nets are going to knock them out. Or even the Bucks. I don't think the Bucks are a good matchup for the 76ers.
Um, I'm with you. Uh, I'm not high on the Bucks like you are, Mike, but definitely out of the first round. Shaq and them was mentioning last night because the Heat have the AFC right now. So if the Sixers were to play the Heat, yeah, I got the Sixers. Um,
Yeah, that would. Yeah.
but yeah, I'm I gotta wait and see because um, Joel.
Actually, the Heat are 10th right now.
Oh yeah. Sorry, but I guess Shaq was saying they had that play-in tournament, Mike. They had that
Oh
play-in.
yeah, that's right. If they pull out of that, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So I, I, I gotta wait and see. I asked Mike a question about how far they can get, but I'm not going to answer the question because I don't know yet. I'm gonna wait and see.
All right, but now we were talking about before we did the show, the Brooklyn Nets. We have them as title favorites. They've been playing great without KD. They've won 8 in a row. Last weekend, I saw the game against the Clippers, and they just dominated most of the game. I know they kind of fell apart a little bit in the fourth, but they still closed it out. I mean, I'm really surprised with the way it's working out. I think they do play a little bit like the Houston Rockets. I do see that. They play a lot of ISO ball, a lot of 3 pointers. A lot of James Harden, same kind of deal. Holds on to the ball. I'm a little surprised with Kyrie Irving how he's like he's standing back, right, and not complaining so far. So I'm actually a little shocked with that too.
Mike, other let's forget what Jay-Z said at this moment. he said Brooklyn, they got 99 problems. Brooklyn does not have no problems, Mike. To your point, Mike, I was watching the game last night versus the Magic. So many threes from players from Tyler Johnson, the Cabarro, Shamit. They got Shamit now.
Yeah.
Of course, James Harden's Kyrie. So yeah, they're like the Houston Rockets. Steve Nash is doing them just like you got Mike D'Antoni, you got Amari Stoudemire on that coaching staff. Also, Mike, I love that Kyrie point because he said it. He said it in an interview. James Harden, you're the point guard. I'll play back, be the shooting guard. So yeah, this team, Mike, is like Mike. They don't even have a Kevin Durant, and we've seen what Kevin Durant can do in the big stages versus LeBron and everybody. So they don't have a Kevin Durant right now. So when he comes back, it's going to even be more lethal of an offense, defense. Kevin Durant can block shots when he wants to play a little defense. So yeah, Mike, I'm for just the moment of just this superstar team. I want to see them in the finals. So yeah, I think Brooklyn got a good chance.
The only thing I would wonder is with when Durant comes back, they're gonna have to adjust the team a little bit, right? Because right now they are playing a lot of isolation. They're not really moving the ball around. And when Durant comes in, you're gonna have to get Durant some shots. So I do think they're gonna have to make a little bit of adjustment. But we'll they just haven't played enough together, right? The three of them. They've only had 3 or 4 games, so we haven't really seen them play the three of them together enough to see if it's gonna really work.
Mike, and then do you think that's going to be up to Steve Nash or the players? Because let's say if Steve Nash can try to, of course, all three of them are going to start together. 12-minute game, probably play the first, 6 minutes, 7 minutes to the 5-minute mark. And then that's when the rotations will start playing a factor. Who do you play with each other? Is it KD and Kyrie, KD and James?
Well, I like the Kyrie and KD. They play well together. I mean, they played well together before Harden was there. So I think they should stick to that. But I don't know about the Harden KD tandem, right? That's going to be the question I have. Is it really going to work with both of them out there?
And then maybe you only play one of them. So other players, of course, they can, because you might need those role players down the line, the playoffs, somebody gets injured or not, so you can get their confidence still high. It'll be a tax for Steve Nash. He's smart, one of the best point guards in NBA history. So it's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, to just a major point, I got Brooklyn making the finals, Mike. Know about you?
Yeah, I'm making the finals if they stay healthy, the three of them. I do think they need the three of them to make the finals, though. I don't think they can make it with like 2 of them, though. I do think they need the 3 of them in there. That's my opinion. Because I don't know, you can't get like the scoring. You know how in the playoffs it's going to be hard to get like 2 guys to score 35, 40 points, right? So I think you need the 3 of them in there.
That's a good debate, Mike. That's a good one because like, of course, yeah, all 3 they're definitely making it. Mike, the way these, well, I mean, it's the East. They have been playing some not so good teams.
Yeah, because the Eastern Conference is just like, it's really not that good again, right? I mean, every year we say this, like even when LeBron was in Cleveland, right? I mean, the Eastern Conference is like year in, year out, just not a good conference. There's like 3 or 4 good teams, and then the rest of it is pretty bad. I mean, even the Celtics and Heat have been really bad this year, 15 and 17. That's pretty bad in the Eastern Conference for those 2 teams.
So that's why, because I'm trying to say I think they still could make it with 2, but these last 8 games that they've been playing with this 8-game win streak, they have been playing bad teams. To your point, the 4th seed, Mike, is 15 and 15. Like the 4th seed is the Pacers, and they're 15 and 15 and 500. So,
yeah.
But
and somehow imagine the Knicks are 6. That's the one that's insane, man. 16 and 17. How does that happen?
I want to say something about the Knicks. Let me finish real quick on the Nets. I do want to say, yeah. So I'm gonna differentiate with Mike on this one. Me and Mike, we might have to fight after this. I don't know. But, yeah, I think that, in my opinion, I do think Brooklyn could make it there with still 2 teams with 2 players to the finals.
Wow.
To the Knicks, though, Mike, I'm so happy the Knicks is making it. They said, or they're at least going to hopefully make the playoffs, but they're in the playoffs, Tracy, right now. Kenny Smith last night of TNT said it also, and I've been saying this for years. I've been telling everybody this: the league is better when the Knicks are good. I think I even told you this before how I wanted the Knicks to make it and
Yeah.
whatnot. So the league is better when the Knicks are good. I I like the Knicks. Julius Randle might make the All Star team.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know though. The Knicks, I don't think they're gonna finish in the top six. I have them finishing in the 7th or 10 section. So I have them in the play in, and then we know anything can happen. So I don't know if they're gonna make the playoffs yet. I have my doubts. I don't know if Julius Randle could keep it up the whole season.
See, I'm with you, Mike. Now, like I like Julius Randle for making it because he's a former Laker and whatnot. But I am with you. I'm not too high on Julius like I am the former Lakers who have got traded away. The Brandon Ingrams, the Jordan Clarkson, who's looks like going to win Six Man of the Year.
Yeah.
Josh Hart is playing good with the Pelicans. Larry Nance Jr. with the Cavs, not so much, but we'll see. I know he's injured right now, but yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't know if Julius can carry them in. But speaking of play-ins, Mike, second half schedule came out, Mike.
Oh yeah, that's right.
What's your thought?
And we have a lot of back to backs for a lot of teams. And looking at the schedule, I think it's gonna be really tough. I think for everybody, not just like the good teams. I think teams like the Knicks are gonna have a hard time. I think with all the games trying to make the playoffs, find a way to do it. So we're gonna see. I think the records are gonna stay kind of like how they are right now, like 500 game under 500 for a lot of teams. We're gonna probably see that for the rest of the year. So it should be really exciting, I think, at the end of the year, because we're gonna have a lot of teams that can jump from the 7 to 10 spot to the top six, which is guarantees you the playoffs.
Mike, let me get your thoughts on two things. Um, First, well, I'll tell you first, then you can just answer both. But the Wizards, Mike. Oh no, excuse me, not the Wizards. The Grizzlies and the Spurs have the most games, 40 games, Mike, in 67 days. I'll ask you, are they going to be tired? Is it fair or whatnot? Second question, I don't know if you heard, they said if more games did get canceled, um, more than likely it'll be hard to make up. So whichever team has the best winning percentage is going to get in. So let's say real quick who's having a lot of games off. So the Spurs right now, the Spurs,
Yeah.
of course, they had so many games off because of the virus. They're in a 6th seed, but a lot of teams have played way more games, but their winning percentage got them in the 6th seed. So is that fair? Those two questions.
Well, I mean, I think the first question of the 40 games, I mean, you have to do it, right? Because the Grizzlies and Spurs had so many postponements for the virus. So you got to do it. The second one, it is, I think, unfair because the teams that had the most postponements are going to have the advantage because they had less games played. So if they win just enough games from the games they play, they're going to jump over everybody, right? Because of the winning percentages. So I do think they have to try to make up all the games. I mean, I know they don't want to push the regular season back, but I mean, I think that would be the fairest way to do it. Push the regular season back 1 or 2 weeks just to get all these games in. Because I don't like the winning percentage idea. I know the MLS had to do that last year when they had a lot of postponements. The Colorado Rapids didn't play a game for 6 weeks. And they ended up making the playoffs because of that. The winning percentage jumped them ahead of everybody. So that
Mike,
was that
so
was
so hold on. We gonna get back to the NBA. We a sports roundup, so we talk about sports. So you trying
yeah.
to tell me, Mike? So how many games did they play? Like, so they didn't play
They
not
didn't play the
regular
I think there was
break,
like a 25 game season, so they only played like 18 or 19 games. They missed like 5 or 6 games last year.
and then the records was looking like a little quirky, right? Like they had
Yeah, well,
like something crazy, but they were still higher, right?
yeah, because of the winning percentage, because they won enough games, right? So the winning percentage always benefits the team that plays less games in this case, right? So
So
it would benefit the Spurs quite a bit if they don't get these games made up. There's another outbreak. So I think you have to try to make up all the games. It's the only fair way to do it for these teams here that didn't that are they're trying to make it in. Or the other fair way to do it is to just extend the play in, right? Have like the top 12 make it or something, right? Because I think that's the only way to do it. Really, because you can't the winning percentage is a bad idea, especially in the NBA.
Mike, I like that point. Nobody said that yet. I like that. Maybe top 12 because I'm with you. The record would look weird. Let's say if the Spurs like play 10 less games in a team, when
Yeah.
the playoffs, they gonna have home court advantage or something, and it'll look weird. I'm with you, maybe top 12, and then also Mike. It goes back to ratings and money. They don't want to your week or two point to your week or two to push it back. They don't want to conflict with the Olympic Games that they
Well,
think will
yeah.
happen.
Yeah, I mean that's why I think it's out of the question, right? Because the season's got to end by mid-July. They need to have the top NBA stars going to the Olympics, the ones that are healthy. Imagine if you make the finals and you win a championship, and then you got to go to Japan and play the Olympics. That's gonna be really hard. I mean,
Mike,
especially like Brooklyn, they win the championship. All three of those guys are gonna have to go to Japan.
that's a great point. On you probably gonna say the same thing as me. LeBron is not going to play in the Olympics if he makes the finals. In my opinion, I'll be
Well,
shocked.
that's the thing though. Can he opt out though? I mean, is that's why I don't know. NBA stars never opt out. Rarely. I mean, they do opt out sometimes, but I don't know if they're contractually obligated with their sponsors or something. Because that would be a big one. If LeBron James goes to the finals. I mean, if he doesn't go to the Olympics, that's going to take out a lot of revenue for that U.S. Olympic team.
That's a good point, Mike, because he's the big name.
Yeah.
Big name.
All right, so I want to thank everybody for watching the Sports Roundup Show. Make sure you like and subscribe to this week's episode. Thanks for watching, everybody.